Hey, YouTube land. This is sometimes what happens when you go and try to go to a job interview. This is the bolt and the washer that hold on belt tensioner pulley. Now there's radiator hose in the way. Trying to get this phone in so you can see here. I'm sorry, I cannot get the lens on the phone where my eyeballs go. You see how it pulley's at an angle there, and spin this fan over. Fan's hitting on it. That about a mile down the road, chucked the belt, and this belt here has about 5,000 miles on it. And in 5,000 miles, this is the second belt that I've had to put on this truck. The first one, the idler pulley, which is crike. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's this idler pulley here. Went out on me when Mom was in the hospital. I had both cars down. This one went out and I had to go to a non-discount part store to get the right part, because discount part stores all had the wrong one. They all have one for either a 5.0 Ford pickup truck motor, which is, you know, like your F-150 or your Bronco motor. That's a different one than this takes. They did not have the one for the V8 Explorer. This here, I've called around. This is going to be 45 or 50 bucks. I'm trying to hold it where you can see it. I can feel the pulley wanting to turn, but I can't get it to pop off yet. I took the bolt out. I'm going to see if I can get this thing out. I really hate to have this truck towed, but it looks like all the parts are in Dayton, and I'm in Springfield, and nobody will deliver to the side of the road. All right, well, that's all for now. I just went and got the two pry bars out, popped this off. It's that piece of metal in there is not supposed to be in there. That's canted in there, and that's where the bolt was in. It looks like the bearing race here went in this pulley, and it snapped off the snout unless the bearings on that race is on. Yeah, the bearings, I see bearings are gone out of there. So I'm not going to be able to even make this work good enough to get home, because that's the threads that the bolt goes in for the pulley, and they are not supposed to come out with the pulley. So the whole belt tensioner's junk. Try to get the camera where I can show it there, but it's hard to see in here. It is, yeah, it's the whole snout of that thing's all messed up. I need a whole assembly. I'm on the side of the road. I was on my way to another job interview because this other job's been putting me on hold. So I'll get off here for now. Okay, YouTube land. This is my old fan belt that I took off this thing, but I kept it for in case of emergency. And the belt that replaced this, I replaced it with a Goodyear Gatorback, and then I had this one go, and it only squealed for 10 seconds before it smoked the belt when that locked up. I've got the tensioner off here and its pulley. That smoked that belt, and it only squealed for like, I want to say 15 seconds. This thing's got loud exhaust. You know, it sounds like a 302 Mustang, because, well, you know, it's this 302 Mustang engine just with the Explorer plate on there. This piece here, the bolt goes in, and it's broke off here in the bearing, and there's at least, it looks like there's at least one of the rollers gone in that bearing. So the bearing locked up on here, put enough torque on it, it sheared off that, kicked this sideways, and I picked my belt up and threw it in the truck. I'm here in somebody's parking lot, and I called them and told them my truck's broke down and I'd be here for at least a few hours. So I don't want to leave stuff all over their parking lot. That's not right. But I called them and talked to them. Anyways, there's at least 2 ribs missing off there. I think it's a 6-rib belt, to tell you the truth. Yeah, you can hang on, go hit the pause button. Okay, you can kind of see how much it ripped off there, because it kicked that tensioner pulley, the edge of it, over into the fan, And that thing goes about here where my hand is, and it was catching on these back bottom edges of these fan blades where I really can't show you. Yeah, I can show you this side here. Right there on that fan blade, that corner there was hitting that pulley and chewing that rubber up, and my fan belt, or I should say the serpentine belt, jumped off. It was all wrapped up around the fan, and it filled my overflow tank up to the top. I got the air cleaner clamp, the air filter box out of, or air intake hose from the filter box out of the way so I could do this. I had to take out 4 bolts, the 210s, this 1/2 inch, and this one here that holds the pulley in here. And yeah, it's got some damage on it too. But you can see that this plastic here holds the spring in has melted. Now, when I had this one fail, I checked all these, made sure they all felt good, and they did. These things here, when they fail on these Explorers, when these bearings go, they just go. There's no warning. There's no time to shut your engine off and pull over. I was in a situation where the route I was on, Route 40 outside of Springfield, it's almost like a highway right where this happened, and I had to, like a divided highway, so I had to get over when the light came up 3/4 miles down, and then turn at the light, and then make this parking lot here. I don't want to really show where I'm at, but anyways, people got a tow-away sign. They don't have an office here anymore, but they have a notice for their customers. That thing's still leaking something. I might have a blown hose, because or that might just be residual leaking. I'll move it in a while again. My buddy's supposed to be on his way to come give me a ride. But yeah, I got the part off. There's only 2 bolts that hold the part on. For some reason, I had to take 3 off to get it off. Maybe I miscalculated, but I tried taking 2 out, the 2 I thought, and it didn't move, so I took a 3rd one out and then it jumped off. Sometimes you have to do that on the side of the road. Thankfully, I had enough sockets with me, because this is metric. That's 15. That was a 9/16 head, not a 15, not a 14, but this was a 10 millimeter, or I should say 9/16 head, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter. And I had 2 small pry bars with me, and I was able to pry this pulley off. You can see it kicked that the nose there, the bolt thread nose there that the bearing sits on, kicked it sideways in there. But I'm going to take this with me to match up at the parts store, because a lot of these parts stores, when you're looking for parts for a V8 96 Explorer, they want to give you parts for a 4.0 V6 Explorer. Somebody put some things in their computer completely wrong. Oh yeah, that thing's still probably too hot to... Yeah, no, it comes off now, but man, I'm going to have to do something, because all the coolant I need in the radiators over in the overflow bottle. I can't tell how bad this is leaking. I'm going to buy a gallon of coolant too. All right, that's all for now. Well, I got it back home, YouTube land. It's running. It sucked all the coolant out of the overflow. It's slow. I put some straight water in the radiator. I had about a quart of water with me that was for drinking, so I put that in there. That sucked this out. It had this thing filled clean up to here. Can't see it because the air cleaner's in the way. It's down in there, new parts on, it's working. I didn't make a video of me putting it back on, because the guy that gave me a ride to the parts store stayed and helped me get the belt on, and this was a hurry up and get it back going thing, not a let's stand around and make a YouTube video thing. Turn it off there. I don't hear hissing. The radiator cap's hot like it should be. This right here is extremely hot, and I didn't remember that being that hot. When I opened that hood and put my arm there. Oh, I hear. That's pressure coming out of the air conditioning system. It's hard to see it down there. It is that new shiny aluminum part down in there. You can see the belt on the pulley. Yeah, wow, that is hot. It goes through an alternator around that tensioner. Then down there's an idler. Goes around the crankshaft, over top of the water pump, around the air conditioner, around the power steering, around this idler, and then to the alternator. It takes one person holding it while the other person cranks on the ratchet and gets the belt on the. Somebody has it do it over the alternator pulley while I'm down underneath cranking on the tensioner enough. But this is my old belt that I keep in the truck for emergencies. So far, the two that have replaced it have both been shredded due to failures. Now, the AC compressor's been replaced, the alternator's been replaced, this idler's been replaced, that tensioner's been replaced. That just leaves one idler that hasn't been, and the power steering pump that I know of. Alright, well, that's all for now. Thankfully, I made it back home with this thing. Parts cost me about 50 bucks, which was no fun. Would have been more if I didn't have a spare belt. I had to borrow money from my buddy to be able to buy parts at the parts store. Alright, later YouTube.